So I feel like I did loads of baby updates with Millie, and I've not done any with this little one. So nearly said the name. Oh, pregnancy brain. That's okay, that's why we're not doing this live. Yeah, so I thought I'd jump on here and do a little bit of an update because, um, yeah, obviously second pregnancy is very different from first for me. So with Millie, if you've watched my videos, on YouTube. I was very sick with her. My health wasn't in the best condition because I had Emmy before I had Millie, and I'm much more active now. I've not had any problems with Emmy or like muscle pain since. There's another video which again explains that. Yeah, so this one's been amazing. I thought it was a boy because I was just not being sick. I'd had a few nauseating moments. There was one morning where I was sick. Well, technically two, but the second one was because I accidentally got my iodine tablet stuck in my throat. But yeah, so good to know the reflux works well. So I am currently 25 days plus 6, so in other words, I'm 26 weeks tomorrow. Very exciting. So we've only got 14 weeks to go. This pregnancy has flown by in comparison to Millie's. Yeah, it's a bit of a shock. I realised I didn't say we are having a girl again, so I know what I'm dealing with. It's one of those moments when, because we thought we were having a boy, it was really weird. Like, we got to the scan and I was just really convinced, and obviously I was right. So I was right with Millie when I thought she was a girl as well, but this one is completely wrong, and so I thought, oh yeah, I was right with Millie, I'll be right with this one, and I wasn't, completely wasn't. So it was actually a really nice surprise because we got the surprise element, but we didn't know what it was, so we kind of got the best of both worlds. So we got the surprise without having it on the day, so that was quite nice. And I'm gonna be honest, girls' clothes are much easier to buy for, and they're much nicer. Like, I'm sorry, but companies, get it together. Get some cooler boys' clothes out there. Yeah, they just seem to be a bit, like, flat compared to the girls. But anyway. So yeah, when I was thinking we were having a boy, I was looking at boys' clothes, so yeah. Yeah, this pregnancy, so definitely been a lot more tired. First trimester was very, very, like, ugh. And so that was quite tough, but we got through it. We also moved again in first trimester, so we moved actually when I was pregnant with Millie, so I remember being sick on the day that we moved. Wasn't sick this time, but we lived in a place with 40 stairs, so that was quite intense. But I think I must have been about, maybe, it was February, I'm trying to think. I can't remember I must have only been a couple of weeks pregnant when we moved, so it wasn't as draining this time. So it hadn't really cranked up yet, so that was quite nice. So the move was a lot easier with this one. And then yeah, so I have been getting bigger faster. That is definitely one thing I've noticed. So obviously the weight's heavier, etc, etc. So it is a little bit more tiring this time. I'm nearly in third trimester, so I'm 2 weeks away from third trimester. And so that is sort of taking a toll now, and I am getting a bit more tired again. And I think it's just a constant adjustment, I think, is what I've learned. Like, I feel like it's an adjustment every month, like, just having to adjust what I'm doing, creating a lifestyle that's going to work for me, and my husband and my daughter, rather than trying to just carry on not being pregnant, because I'm better health. I feel a lot better, and so I want to do more, and so that's been very interesting. One of the major things, if you've watched some of my other videos as well, is we are in New Zealand this time, not UK. So the system's a bit different. You actually select your midwife. It's really strange. If you come from the UK, where you just kind of get given a midwife and then you see about 10 during your pregnancy, and on the day of the birth, the midwife who helped me give birth, never met her before, but she was really lovely, so that was awesome. Yeah, this time you actually get to choose one, and so you go on this site called findmymidwife.co.nz, and basically you find one that's available when you're due, and you request them, and they say yes or no, maybe, depending on obviously who else they've got on their workload. So yeah, I found one pretty quick because I I'd heard it was quite difficult to get one sometimes if you didn't get in there very quick. And yeah, so I am due on the 21st of October this year. So yep, I have a midwife and I've been seeing her every month at the moment, and then when I hit 28 weeks, it's every 2 weeks, which is really great. They just keep an eye on you. And yeah, there's a few things coming up, so there's a few differences they don't do here and they do here, if that makes sense. So in the UK, because I have a negative blood group, I had to have the anti-D injection. They don't do that here, or at least in the area I am, unless I've had an accident, bleeding happens or anything like that. So yeah, because obviously, actually I wouldn't have needed it with Millie because she was a negative blood group. She was the same as me. I wouldn't have actually needed that. So because the injection is quite costly, they just don't want to give it to you if you don't need it, because let's face it, if you don't need an injection, why get stabbed? I'm not a big fan of needles. Yeah, the one thing I do have to have is whooping cough, so that's coming up soon. They recommend you have the flu jab. I didn't with Millie because of the time of year. So very confusingly, Millie was born in the UK winter, and I think there was not much point in me having a flu jab because I was only pregnant for a month in the winter really. Whereas here it's all been through the winter, so I think I probably should have had it a bit earlier, but the problem is, so I got bronchitis, and then I just got, I think it was like 2 or 3 colds afterwards. I've now recovered. So it's been a bit of a tough one in the second trimester with all the illness, but I had tonsillitis with Millie, so yeah, that was rougher, and I'm glad it was that way round. Bronchitis was a little bit easier to deal with. I think the first couple of days was like really tough, and pelvic floors aren't as strong in your second pregnancy, so every time I coughed or sneezed, that was a little bit fun. Yep, so that was it was more frustrating actually, just because it just kept on happening. But yeah, and then so I have to have the whooping cough jab, so that was the same as the UK. And then they do this glucose test. Glucose test. So I'm not quite sure what happens. So they test your blood basically for gestational, which I can never say that word properly, diabetes. So they give you some sugary drinks and they like test your blood. Or something, I don't know. I think my body burns sugar pretty fast, so I should be fine. But yeah, that's a new one. So I have to have a blood test, and they apparently give you this weird sugary drink, and so I have no idea, but I need to have that done in the next couple of weeks. So it's a new thing. They do in New Zealand and not in the UK. So I've had 4 scans. So you have a dating scan here, and that was about 7 weeks. I think it was 7 weeks, because we definitely saw the heartbeat, which was just really nice to be able to see that. Then I had one at 12 weeks. Obviously that's all the development and everything. Then I had one at 20 weeks, and this baby was not playing. She was just chilling out like nobody's business and wouldn't move. So yeah, we had to come back, and they just had to check a few bits. I think they couldn't get her hand or something like that because she was lying on her side or something. But yeah, there is plenty of movement now, which is the good news. Like yesterday, she was having a bit of a disco in my womb. It was crazy, but it was amazing. It's always the best part of pregnancy for me, is the movement and just being able to feel them move and wiggle and just starting life by themselves and moving by themselves and stuff like that. So that was really cool. Yeah, so I'm trying to think what else. I've got acid reflux, which is why I keep on kind of burping. So I need to have a drink in a minute. Acid reflux is back. I had it bad with Millie, and this one apparently so it'll be interesting because they say there's a connection between acid reflux and hair growth. So maybe this one will have a head of hair as well. But to be honest, my husband was born with a head of hair, and so was I. So it's going to be very unlikely that we have a bald baby, weird as that sounds. So I think that's kind of it really. Like, there's nothing been crazy abnormal or anything. I think that's kind of it. But yeah, so that is the update on baby number 2. And maybe, as I get further on, I'll do a few more videos. But thank you very much for watching. I've been 10 minutes already. Wow, I ramble. But thanks and hope you enjoyed the ramble. And talk to you soon. Bye.